Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jordan Kitchen and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. In 15 minutes, I will update you on LSU's NCAA tournament resume. That feels more relevant today than it did a week ago. Feels maybe more relevant today than it did 2 days ago. I'll give you the sense. I wrote a piece on it on LouisianaSports.net. It's there for free, but we'll talk it through in 15 minutes because I've gotten asked this a good bit, including on Lafayette Radio earlier today. What if Wednesday's coming your way in 30 minutes? If you'd like to ask a question, you can hit us up on Twitter at HuntPalmer88 or on our brand new text line, 225-499-1045 is the text line. We'll read the best 4 or 5 there for What If Wednesday here in 30 minutes. The Saints have invited a player that has some ties to defensive coordinator Staley. We'll talk about that in 45 minutes. Koki Riley's here in an hour. LSU basketball has a player, and our SEC baseball power rankings coming your way in 90 minutes. Plenty to do on this Wednesday. Let's crank it up with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Well, I asked pretty nicely yesterday during the show, right there at the end, like, can you just give me 6 outs to start the game and maybe let the offense get its feet on the ground? That's all I asked as I departed the airwaves yesterday. And guess what? For 2 innings, LSU got the opponent out. Major hat tip to Danny Lockenmeyer. He gave up 4 hits. A lot of that was in the 3rd inning of work. But for the first 2 innings, he put zeros on the board. LSU goes 6 spot, 3 spot. It's 9-0. That is what midweek baseball should look like a lot of the time. I didn't say it was easy, but LSU's better than these teams, and they're throwing their midweek arms, and you should light them up. And LSU was clinical in the first 2 innings of that baseball game. Yes, Lockenmeyer did give up a 2-out run in the 3rd. Yes, you did give up 2 runs in the 4th. Yeah, there was 2 runs in the 5th. Fontenot got dinged for a homer, and all of a sudden you looked up and it was 9-5. But she got a solo run in the 5th, got a solo run in the 6th. John Pearson smoked one in the 7th. He opened things up 13-5, and LSU coasted to a 13-6 win against Tulane. Look, I'll be honest. I didn't love it when I was at Myers' swim lessons yesterday, and I'm looking at my phone for the lineup, and it pops up via Twitter, and Omar Cerna's not in there. And I didn't love that Jay Johnson said after the game that Omar Cerna's dealing with the back thing. He just couldn't really go. He's been dealing with it and hit great over the weekend. Maybe he's be good this weekend, maybe not. Like, that's not super encouraging. But what LSU did offensively yesterday, what LSU has now really done offensively for 2 weeks, has been encouraging. They were good on offense in Starkville. That's a pretty good staff. LSU hung some numbers on those guys really for 3 days straight outside of Jack Bauer. You come back, you play a midweek game against Southeastern, you do a good job offensively in that game. Then over the weekend, you face an inferior pitching staff in South Carolina, save really Ant Phillips in their Friday night spot, who you tagged pretty good. And LSU scored runs over the weekend, and they continued that in the game against Tulane. Jay Johnson has harped on this over the last 7-8 days, just saying that usually in college baseball, the hitters gain the advantage the later in the schedule. Pitchers get tired, hitters get more at-bats, the weather warms up, it's more conducive to hitting, and usually offense will follow that. And LSU is hitting. I mean, you can just look at the play-by-play from last night, even if you didn't even watch it, and it is just boom, 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 boom. I mean, it started with the Braun walk, which he's doing a ton at this point, and you had the wild pitch. Aaron Beatty just absolutely crushes a ball to center field that goes over the wall. Derek Curiel draws a walk. They've got to go to the bullpen. Milam hooks a double down the right field line. Pearson pumps a double into right center field. Dardar smokes the ball through the left side. What did we talk about the other day when we were talking about what Jay Johnson's looking for in this lineup and why some of the transfers didn't necessarily click? He wants guys that stay on the baseball a long time and hit it the other way. Aaron Beatty homer to center. Pearson double into right center. Dardar smokes a ball to the left side of the infield and threw in for an RBI hit. And then William Patrick grounded out to shortstop for one of the outs in the first inning, and it was over 100 miles an hour off the bat, and the shortstop had to make a miraculous play just to save it from going to the outfield. He made the throw over to first. So that was a really encouraging second inning. And then LSU just piled right back on in the second. Aaron Beatty walked. Curiel hit a double into the right center field gap. Milam once again hooks a double down into right center. Pearson did fly out, but then Dardar singled through the shift on the right side. Ruckert doubled down the line. Like, it was just hard hit ball after hard hit ball after hard hit ball. Good at bat after good at bat after good at bat. And the guys are just seeing it a lot better. Aaron Beatty is absolutely in fuego. I put all of his statistics in a statistically speaking piece at LouisianaSports.net. It's got a lot of numbers in it if you want to read through that. I'm not going to go through all the numbers right now because it just doesn't play that great on radio, but you know that he's going exceptionally well. His numbers are through the roof. He's up to 15 homers. He's 2 points behind Derek Curiel for the batting average lead on the team. He's blossomed into a star. Milam is doing what Milam does every single May and into June. He's done it for 3 years. This is the third year. He just gets hot, and he hits a ton of extra base hits, a lot of doubles, hit a missile of a home run at Mississippi State. Like, he just gets cooking. Dardar now is back, and he's not healthy, but he's swinging the bat okay. You know that Cerna was going great when he was in there. William Patrick starting to see it better. Jack Ruckert starting to see the ball a little bit better as well. So your lineup's got some length to it. It's not necessarily exactly what we thought it would be. You thought Jake Brown would be right there in the middle of it. You thought Chris Stanfield would be right there in the middle of it. You figured that Zach York and or Braden Simpson, Trent Carraway would be in the middle of it, and they're not. But some of these young guys are really doing a great job. And I don't know that Mason Braun is producing as much for his batting average. He just is getting on base time and time and time and time again, which he did over the weekend. He did again last night. Like, he only got one hit. It was a double, but he walked twice and was hit by a pitch. He got on base 4 times. He just is consistently doing that from that top spot, and it's fantastic to see. Every single starter in LSU's lineup last night had a hit. 7 of the 9 had multiple hits. Everyone in the lineup got on base multiple times last night. That's just very good consistency and what you should be doing in the midweek. And Jay Johnson said something last night that I basically said yesterday on the airwaves. It's not what everybody wants to hear, and it may cost them. We're not suggesting to just completely sweep it under the rug. But to insinuate that this team was terrible in the midweek is just not really true. They were terrible for 8 days in the midweek when they got beat by McNeese, and then they came back and got beat by ULL, and then the next night came out and got beat by Northeastern on a Monday. Like, they were terrible for 8 days. And then they came back and they handled their business. Yes, Bethune-Cookman got them. Absolutely. But over the last 9 weeks of the season, they only lost that one midweek game. Some of them were ugly. Like, I didn't like falling behind Grambling or Southern or whoever it was 6-0. Can't even remember it. That doesn't look very good. Yeah, they made too many errors in the midweek. Like, there were some of the play that wasn't great, but they held their own in the non-conference. More often than not, I shouldn't say that. That was presumptive. That was too much. They did not hold their own for the entirety of the season in the non-conference because you lost 2 to Sacramento State and you did lose your 4 midweek. So you did lose more than I would like to keep the non-conference losses to 4 if you can. Like, that's the target. You can lose 4 non-cons. So like 2 in the first 4 weeks and 2 total in the midweek. That's really good. At that point, your SEC schedule is going to tell your entire story. But you dump more than that, like 2 more than that, and it may ding you 8 spots in the RPI, and that's kind of where you sit. And we'll do the resume thing here in a second. But they've really done a good job later in the season in the midweek. By the time they got to conference play, they dropped 1 midweek game. It was to Bethune-Cookman, who's got a decent team, and they played great that night. They hit the ball all over the yard. and LSU couldn't keep up, and they just lost that game. Bethune-Cookman went out and smashed Florida the next week too. But they did a good job last night, and they're playing better. There's no doubt they're playing better. The young guys have grown up a little bit. Some of these older guys are white hot. John Pearson's back in the lineup, which is great. It's good to see Jack Ruckert with 2 more hits. He's getting a little bit more confident. They're playing better defense. They did not make an error last night. There's a pass ball that was scored a wild pitch that Aaron Beatty should have made the play on. He also made a ridiculous play on that foul pop-up at the screen that was really good. He made a really nice play to back pick a runner at first base. He made a great throw down to second base to cut down a runner stealing. He made 3 really good plays. He made 1 bad play. He's not perfect back there, but he is making some improvements. And it just goes to show the talent level that Cade Aaron Beatty has that we talked about, or that I certainly talked about in the fall and in January. He is as talented a catcher as LSU has had in this program in a very, very long time. Very long time. His talent level is better than Brady Neal. It's better than Hayden Travinski or Alex Milano. It's better than Luis Hernandez. It's better than even Micah Gibbs. It's better than Michael Papierski. He's a more talented player than those guys when you couple bat to ball, power, arm, agility, all these things that are tangible tools. He's the best in a very long time. I would hesitate to go all the way back to Brad Cressy, who wasn't a good defensive catcher, but the physical gifts as far as the offensive side of things were otherworldly, and I'm not going to put Aaron Beatty in that category just yet. But in terms of physical tools, you want to go back 20 years, he's as gifted as they come, and he is continuing to show that. He is white hot. He did strike out 3 times last night, but the damage he did in the other spots was impressive, and he got on base 3 times. Had a homer and had a single. So it was a good night for LSU. Do I want Grant Fontenot to give up a homer? Not really, but I'm thrilled that Devin Sheeran didn't get in the ballgame. I'm thrilled Gavin Guidry didn't get in the ballgame. I think that Jay Johnson was able to use his pitching staff as he would like to use them, and LSU will now go to Athens on Friday ready to play the Friday game. And if Schmidt's good and you swing the bats pretty good against, I guess you're going to see Volchko in that game, and you've got a chance to win it, you'll have your guys ready. If Georgia takes it to you early in that game and you don't have a chance to win it, you need to pitch off to have your guys ready to try to win games 2 and 3, you'll have that opportunity. You're not going to have to sit anybody on a Friday based on what happened on Tuesday. That's the ideal situation for LSU to be in. That's the situation that LSU is in leaving that game. So solid work last night. Not a season saver by any stretch, but solid work. And now you go to Athens with a lot of work to do. What work do they have to do? Well, you kind of get a sense, but I'll put some numbers on it and some historical context on where LSU sits right now and how they can make the NCAA tournament and what you need to be watching this weekend and next weekend in the Southeastern Conference. So we'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. Jonathan Carbo and his team would love to help you with your commercial property and casualty needs on the insurance side. They can absolutely do it. They can also help you with group and employee benefits. They understand at the Highland Insurance Group just how frustrating some of those renewals can be. If you have just gotten beaten into submission by your group employee benefits renewals, contact the Highland Insurance Group. Get a second set of eyes. You need to have quality benefits, quality health care, quality dental, quality vision. You need to have that to attract quality employees and to keep them happy and employed with you. If you're not able to do that because your premiums are through the roof or because your benefits are not very good and you're getting complaints, let the Howard Insurance Group take a look at it. They're an independent broker. They're very capable of shopping and looking around at different carriers to make sure you're in the right place as a business. So if your group and employee benefits renewal is coming up, or if you just had an unpleasant one and you just like to have a conversation about what could change moving forward for your business, because it's an expensive deal, the Highland Insurance Group is happy to help you with that. Check them out online at HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Tell you about Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is that website. Again, SwingEasyGCBR.com. But don't just go to the website. I mean, you can, but go to Swing Easy Golf Club. It's on Segan at Perkins. Back in the shopping center, you'll see it. Big signage up there. And go on in. You'll see the front desk there to the left. See comfortable seating area right there and the television. And then they tell you which bay to go back to. And you walk in, you got couches, chairs. Got the turtle box there. You see the golf simulator, big and bold right up front, television there for you to crank on. And you can work on your game. You can hang out with 5, 8, 10 people, socialize, play Pebble Beach, take mulligans, try to make a hole-in-one. I sat there for 4 hours one Sunday, tried to make a hole-in-one. I didn't. Maybe you're better than me. You can do that. But your opportunities are kind of endless there. You can kind of do whatever it is that you want to do. Also, if you're a business owner and you've got maybe a small sales team, you want to go have a company outing there, you can do it at Swing Easy Golf Club. It's a great place to factor in golf with a little bit of social, a couple drinks, television, tunes, indoors, weather independent. It's an awesome spot. It's right there on Segan at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. All right. Let's do this for the first time all year because we haven't had any reason to do this for all year. By the time it was time to start looking at resumes, LSU was in complete free fall. And they're still in a bad spot, but they're not in free fall because they've won 5 games in a row. And now you're sitting here with 6 games to go against really good teams and an opportunity. But I want to be very, very clear, like currently. And I don't think this is news to anyone, but it does, I think, need to be said based on the tone and tenor of some of the text messages and questions I've gotten. LSU is not on the tournament bubble. LSU is not really all that close to the tournament bubble because you're sitting here right now, just like listen to this out loud. Your RPI is in the 50s. You're in 14th place in the SEC. You have 5 quad 4 losses, and your record in quad 1 is 4-13. You are not close. So how do you get close? Well, you got to win games, and the only games you got left are Georgia and Florida in the SEC tournament. And we already know that. So if LSU goes out there and wins 2 of the next 6, like, we're obviously not having this discussion. So that's not part of this discussion. You go 3-3, you're in big trouble. You better go nuts in Hoover. This really all just starts with 4-2. It starts with 4-2. Because if you go 4-2, all of a sudden your quad 1 record, you've got 8 wins instead of 4. Your RPI is going to climb up into the 40s, close to 40, and you will likely move up in the Southeastern Conference. And now all of a sudden, that does change the resume. So you already know that. You already know that LSU needs to go on the road and handle some business against Georgia, and then come home against Florida and handle some business there, and then go to Hoover and see where your die is cast. But there's some historical context I want to get to, and some peers that LSU has in the SEC that I think are relevant moving forward if you'd like to monitor that as well. With the understanding that the baseline here is like LSU's got to handle its business. But there is more to this equation if they do. Last year, the SEC got 13 teams in. I just told you LSU's in 14th in the SEC. Last year, the SEC got 13 of 16 teams in. It was the first year that the SEC had 16 teams. 13 got in. A&M didn't. South Carolina didn't. Missouri didn't. 13 others did. Before that, it was a 14-team league. You didn't have Texas or Oklahoma. 2024, 11 of 14 got in. 2023, 10 of 14 got in. 2022, 2021, 9 of 14. I believe the more relevant history is the more recent history. Why do I believe that? Because we all understand in this era of revenue sharing, name, image, and likeness, and transfer portal, by far and away, the biggest stockpile of talent is in the Southeastern Conference. I think Coastal Carolina deserves a ton of credit for last year and this year. A ton of credit. Schnall's done a great job. Fluky's a stud. They deserve a ton of credit. But besides Coastal Carolina last year, you're talking about in the title series, LSU, A&M, Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. Okay? They're all in the same league. That's why the SEC got 13 teams in last year. That's why the SEC got 11 of 14 in the year before that. That's why it's grown, because everyone is kind of on the same page here. The Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. Those teams are flailing away in the Big Ten. UCLA literally doesn't even lose in the Big Ten. The SEC's taken the best 2 programs from the Big 12, and you've just got this superpower in the SEC. So you're going to get some benefit of the doubt for being an SEC team, and I think there's a realistic chance that 12 teams get in. 13's a lot. Maybe let's call it 12. So LSU needs to be in the top 12 of the SEC, not only in standing, but in resume. Does that make sense to everybody? You need to be in the top 12, okay? So you're kicking Missouri out. That's 1. You're kicking South Carolina out. That's 2. So now you've got to beat 2 other teams in terms of your resume. This is not everything, but I think it's the best conversation to have right now. I don't think it's a good time right now for us to talk about resumes from the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, the Sun Belt. That's too much for a team that right now, as I just told you at the top of the show, at the top of the segment, they're not on the bubble right now. But you got to pass 2 more teams. You've passed Missouri, you passed South Carolina. They're not getting in, they're done. You got to pass 2 more teams. Well, who's right in front of you right now? Well, it's Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has 1 game ahead of you in the SEC. You're 9-15, they're 10-14. So they got a 1-game lead on you. But here's the deal. Vanderbilt's RPI is trash. You think LSU's is bad at 55? Vanderbilt's is 68. And they are going to have a really hard time helping their RPI. Now, there's a caveat to this. There's a reason they're going to have a hard time helping their RPI. It's because they play the worst two teams in the league. They're at Missouri this week, and they play South Carolina. Now, if they go 4-2, they're probably cooked. They're a 14-16 team with an RPI in the 60s, a terrible quad 1 record. They're probably not going to get in. Vanderbilt's got to go win a lot of games. Now, everyone beats Missouri and everyone beats South Carolina, so they probably will. But if Vanderbilt loses 2 games in the next 6, they're probably cooked. That's one team that'll be behind you. Even if you don't get to 14 wins and you're at 13 and they beat you 2 out of 3, their resume is terrible. Their RPI is bad. Their strength of schedule is bad. Their quad 1 record's bad, and they're not going to help any of that in the next 2 weeks. Now, they can go win 6 games and be 16-14 in the SEC, sweep those 2 series. They're in. No doubt. You need to pull against Vanderbilt. Pull against Vanderbilt. Kentucky's next. Now, Kentucky is 2 games ahead of you in the SEC. They're 11-13. You're 9-15. They're 2 games ahead of you. Their RPI is 21 spots better than yours. LSU's at 55. Kentucky's at 34. So Kentucky is 2 games ahead of you and 21 spots ahead of you in the RPI. That's intimidating. But their strength of schedule's bad, and their quad 1's a little light. They're 6-6. Now, what does Kentucky have left? Here's where it gets interesting. They're at Florida this weekend. That's an RPI helper. LSU knows that. They play Florida at the end. But you could get beat. And then they play Arkansas in Lexington to end it. Those are talented teams. If Kentucky loses their last 2 series, oh, by the way, Kentucky lost a series to Missouri, lost a series to Vanderbilt, lost a series to South Carolina, and lost a series to you. So if you perform for 2 weeks and Kentucky does not against Florida and Arkansas, you can pass Kentucky. That's the fastest roadmap. You're already past Missouri. You're already past South Carolina. You need to pass Vanderbilt. You need to pass Kentucky. Vanderbilt's resume stinks. Kentucky's schedule is difficult. Now, yours is difficult too. Probably more difficult. But we're already baking into this conversation. LSU's got to take advantage of their opportunities. The other team to look at is Tennessee. You beat Tennessee there on the road. Tennessee's got a better resume than LSU. They're 2 games clear of LSU in the SEC. Their RPI is 20 points better, and Tennessee's quad 1 record is 10-8. LSU is 4-13. So that's not close. You would need Tennessee to just die down the stretch. They've got Texas this weekend in Knoxville. Texas can go there and win 3 games. That happens, changes the discussion. Then they go to Oklahoma, who I don't think is very good. But you never know. It's a baseball series. Vanderbilt and Kentucky are the teams LSU needs to pass. Tennessee's right there lurking. You do that, you're in decent shape. It all really, really, really comes down to LSU taking care of its business, but there are other factors here because I can paint you a picture of LSU getting to 13 wins and not getting in. That has happened before. It happened to LSU in 2011. Teams with 13 wins are not a slam dunk to get in. I promise you Vanderbilt is not a slam dunk to get in at 13 wins. In fact, I promise you Vanderbilt will not get in the NCAA tournament with 13 SEC games winning this year. They've got 10 right now, and their last 2 are Missouri and South Carolina. You go 3-3 over those 2 with an RPI in the 60s, forget about it. So 13 is not a golden ticket. But I also do not see eye to eye with those who say that LSU getting to 13 is definitely not good enough. I crunch these numbers at this time every year. I like doing it. I think it's fascinating. It's not black and white. There is some nuance to it, and I would never purport to be some sort of expert in it. I think I understand it well, and I think I can speak relatively simply into how things are baking out. So if I were to look at this right now and put a bow on it before we get to What If Wednesday here, LSU's in a bad spot right now. They're in a bad spot. There is a path through this. And it starts with finding a way to win 2 baseball games in Athens this weekend. If LSU wins 2 baseball games in Athens this weekend, and I take a quick peek at their metrics and the SEC results from this coming weekend, I bet my discussion's very different on Monday. Very different. You still have a lot of work to do, but it's very different on Monday. That's just what they got to do. I don't think that's news to anybody, but if you'd like to read about it, see the numbers in front of your face, they're all kind of strategically put together so that it's easy to digest and read, and you'd like to read about it and feel like as you're driving around, some of these numbers are scrambled in your head. I get that. It's all there for free at LouisianaSports.net on the front page. Go in there and check that out for me. We always appreciate y'all for reading us at LouisianaSports.net. You have an opportunity to get involved with What If Wednesday here. Text us, 225-499-1045. Text us, 225-499-1045. If you got a good what if for us coming up here in the next segment, we will get to it. It's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Every car that's on the lot is online at FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Fabry Chevrolet GMC is on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. They got great deals on trucks. If you're looking for a Chevy Silverado, up to $11,000 off MSRP. Talking about GMC Sierra, up to $13,000 off MSRP or 0.0 APR financing. Maybe a great time to get behind the wheel of a new truck. I promise you'll have a wonderful buying experience there at Fabry. They've been doing this for 35 years in Baton Rouge. Their reputation is sterling for a reason because they treat their customers the way they want to be treated. They have great service after the sale as well. Make that short drive. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. See that incredible inventory. They've got new. They've also got certified pre-owned as well. It's all online at FabryChevrolet.com on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. Built by Renaissance.com is that website. Just give my guy Joey Blanchard a text message. 225-252-7745. That's 225-252-7745. That's how you start the process. You text the owner of the company, say, hey, I'd love to talk about a pool. Love to talk about an outdoor kitchen. I'm trying to build my forever home. Can you help me? Renaissance Homes and Pools can absolutely do it. They've got this incredible software that allows you to design your pool, your outdoor entertainment area, foot by foot, exactly to your specifications. If you're somebody that knows exactly what you want, start that process with Joey. If you're somebody who has no idea, you just want a pool and would like something that looks nice and a great place to host, he can do that for you too. They've got ideas. You can find them online at builtbyrenaissance.com or text Joey, 225-252-7745. Renaissance Homes and Pools brings you our Wednesday shows each and every week. All right, time for What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
All right, so what if the recent injuries to LSU baseball hadn't occurred and those who have stepped up were not given the opportunity they have currently?
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Okay. William Patrick is out there because of injury. He would not be playing right field if Jake Brown didn't get hurt. I would rather have Jake Brown than William Patrick, so I think you've gotten a little bit worse there. However, Stanfield's injury did allow opening time in left field, and maybe Patrick plays there while Stanfield is out, and you lessen some playing time for Eddie Yaman, who's played some left field, Tanner Reeves, who's played in left field, and I would rather have William Patrick out there than them. So he probably gets a shot to play. It wouldn't be a slam dunk like it was when Brown got out and you didn't have Stanfield either, so you didn't have a choice. But the other injuries, I don't know, have necessarily been deciding factors. Like Mason Braun is playing first base because Zach York's been sat down. Like that's a guy that's just been put on the bench. Jack Ruckert, yeah, maybe got a chance because Dardar got hurt. Like I guess you would suggest that, but like he could have played third too, and that was because Caraway and Simpson haven't really performed. So it's been part of it's been injuries. Part of it's been underperformance by the transfer class. And so I think that ultimately those guys probably would have gotten to the field one way or another, maybe just not in the exact position they were. Maybe instead of right for Patrick, it's left with Stanfield getting hurt. Maybe instead of second for Ruckert, it's third some way or another because those guys weren't performing. But yeah, the point stands. Like LSU's had a ton of roster turnover on this team because of the underperformance and the injuries that have just compounded to bring a team that I could not have possibly forecasted to you in January that's out there right now. Just couldn't have.
All right, so what if Ryan Kucherak, Ryan Costello, and Mikey Ryan were to enter the transfer portal again? Would LSU invite them back?
I have no idea about that. I don't know how those relationships ended. It's impossible to tell. Yeah. Obviously, it's not a common thing for players to transfer and then transfer right back. It does happen at times. We've seen it in multiple different places. But look, Mikey Ryan's having a great year at NC State. Ryan Costello is not hitting for a high average. He's got a nice home run total. I think at last I checked it was 13, which is a nice home run total, but it's in the Big Ten. And we're all well aware that the Big Ten is not even on the same planet as the SEC. It's just it's like one is playing on the moon, one's playing on planet Earth. And the same thing goes for Kucherak, who's at Northwestern, who's had a good go of it. I just pulled his stats up in the break because I saw that text was coming in. I mean, over the course of 2 seasons, he's hit 290 with 28 home runs.
Okay.
He hit 18 home runs last year. That's a really good go of it at Northwestern, no question about it. And I'm sure that there's a part of Jay Johnson that wishes he had some of those guys he identified out of high school as opposed to some of the transfers that had brought in for 1 year. But I have no idea if they'd have any interest in coming back at all. I know that you're looking at an infield that does return Jack Ruckert next year, that does potentially return Ethan Claus next year, that does probably return John Pearson next year, that does probably return Mason Braun on the infield next year. And we'll see what happens with Stephen Milam. That was addressed earlier today in a press conference. I wasn't there. I saw some tweets about potentially Jay giving up his number 2 so Milam could wear that next year. I don't know if that was said in jest or if that was a real talking point. I have no idea. But there's going to be a lot of competition in the offseason for playing time at LSU, and I'm confident that Jay Johnson feels particularly strongly about his high school recruiting, seeing the impact that Stephen Milam has had, the impact that Jake Brown has had, the impact that Cade Arambidi has had, Mason Braun, Omar Cerna. Like, these are the stars of the past few years. Yes, no question. Tommy White, incredible. No question. Michael Braswell, very impactful. No question. Like, they've had guys like Danny Dickinson that have made huge impacts. Chris Stanfield is a guy that Jay Johnson loves, and I think they're going to continue to use the transfer portal, but I think he really trusts his high school evaluation, and those are guys that he identified out of high school that have moved on. So we'll see.
All right, so what if LSU basketball is the Indiana football of 2024 this year?
That'll be really fun because they'll win a natty. Or 2024.
No, 2024, yeah.
That'd be great. I mean, if that means they get to the final 8 or so, I think that'd be awesome. I certainly am not going to bet on that right now, but we're going to talk about the player that they added into the program
there you go.
In the second hour. So we like that. That would be great. I would love for LSU basketball to be really good. It's a crowded place over there right now, trying to have everybody happy with their roster assembly ability. But if they were able to do that, that'd be a lot of fun in this town.
All right, so these are coming from the text line. What if Ethan Fry stayed another year?
I mean, he'd hit 360 with 18 homers. I mean,
Good
they would really like him. He'd be
Useful.
DHing, playing some left field right now, and he might play some right field right now. He was awesome. He was another high school guy that Jay Johnson identified, brought in. He said his freshman year when Fry wasn't even playing, like, this guy could be an All-American here, and he was that good. He signed for $1 million out of school last year as a junior, and if he'd have come back, he'd be a huge cog to this thing. They're probably a pitcher short to be what they wanted to be this year, and then you get 2 of your weekend guys hurt.
Yeah.
But as far as the lineup goes, like, they've turned into something pretty good right now. Now, I understand the pitching, but the pitching was pretty good in Starkville, and they tagged it, and they came home and tagged it in the midweek, and they lit South Carolina up, and they did it again last night. So they found something offensively, which is generally what happens, and Fry would be a pretty big part of that.
All right, so what if Texas A&M wouldn't have obliterated LSU at home last season? Maybe no Kiffin, Verge as AD, or no Will Wade?
Yeah, we talked about that. When Wade showed up, I said you could draw a straight line right here to the A&M second half, because the A&M second half was the governor's spot to get rid of an athletic director he didn't like, so he did that. And then they got rid of the football coach was gone, and they put the people in place to get the football coach, and then by design got the basketball coach over, and that was the big puppet show. And that door doesn't open if you don't get dusted by A&M. You win that game against A&M, the governor can't go into a press conference and go nuts about the athletic director.
Yeah.
But now he could, because they got dusted. So there's no question about that, because Will Wade said in that podcast that we talked about yesterday, he was not going to come here without Wade Roos and without Heath Schroyer. So it's a direct line from that second half.
That's a crazy domino effect. We're going to be talking about that 10 years from now. Like, that's a crazy domino effect. So what if they had the ABS system for Arambidi's at-bat in the top of the ninth at Tennessee when I witnessed the most egregious strike 3 call I've ever seen? Huge spot, and he's on fire.
Yeah, but we won the game, so it's okay. Jay got ejected. Cade hit a homer.
That was it. Okay.
It was Easter Sunday. So, it would have been changed, but the outcome's not any different because LSU won the game. So we'll take that one. I'm sure Jay's okay with that ejection. I think that all went okay.
All right, well, that's it for What If Wednesday.
All right, that's it for What If Wednesday. On this Wednesday, the Saints are working out a familiar face, not to the organization, but to the defensive coordinator, and it's a spot that we talked about yesterday with Sharif Ishak, so we'll talk about that to close out the hour next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com. First American Bank and Trust, been at this since 1910. That is 116 years ago, and they have grown and grown and grown to 25 locations throughout southeast Louisiana. That means there's always one near you, whether you're the I-12 corridor with St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, maybe you're closer to Baton Rouge, Dutchtown, Jones Creek, maybe you're down the bayou, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne. No matter where you are, there's a First American Bank and Trust near. If you need a commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. If you need a residential loan, First American Bank and Trust. The people that are making the decisions on those loans, on your future, on your business, are local people from right here in Southeast Louisiana. That means something. And don't just think of them as a little community bank. No, 25 locations. They've got the resources those big national banks do. They can help you out with those commercial loans. It's First American Bank and Trust. Stop by one today. Check out the website, fabt.com.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Our friends over at Oxshire want to remind you that May is National Stroke Awareness Month. There's an acronym for National Stroke Awareness Month. It's BFAST: balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, and time. If you're evaluating somebody who may be having a stroke, are they unable to maintain balance? Is their vision affected with the eyes? Or the eyes deviated to one side? With the face, does one side droop or is it numb? With the arms, is one arm weak or numb? Speech, is it slurred? Time, if a person shows any of these symptoms, even if the symptoms go away, call 911, get them to a hospital immediately. There are some things you can do to help try to prevent strokes. Control your blood pressure. That's very, very important. High blood pressure is a major risk factor if left untreated. Manage your cholesterol levels. Get regular exercise if you can. Get treatment for circulation problems. And avoid alcohol. Stop smoking if you do. Friends at Oxygen, I want to remind you to be fast. It's Stroke Awareness Month all May long. All right, the Saints are continuing to kind of look for odds and ends on their roster. The meat and potatoes, if you will, is there. You're still trying to add here and there. Depth is never a bad thing in the National Football League. We know what kind of a war of attrition it can become in October, November, into December. Just the injuries are everywhere. And we talked to Sharif Ishak yesterday. One of these spots he said that he would love for the Saints to look is in the defensive backfield. And I think that's absolutely reasonable, especially at corner. You did not do a lot to address that in the draft. You went and took a 7th rounder out of Iowa. So you're not necessarily restocking the shelves at an elite level there at corner. And I wouldn't suggest the name that they're trying out would fit that bill either. But there are some things I like about JT Woods, and that's someone that the Saints have brought in here. He was a 3rd-round pick of the Chargers back in the 2022 draft. And, of course, we know who was in charge of that at the time. Brandon Staley was there in Los Angeles. And JT Woods has not been an impactful player in the National Football League. He's played in 13 games. He played 10 games in his first year in 2022. He played 3 games in 2023. Since then, he's bounced around on practice squads. Bears in 24, Seahawks and Raiders in 25, ended up with the Jets in 25 as well. And now you're looking at 2026, and you're looking at me, you're going, Hunt, why in the world would the Saints have serious interest in a guy that has not played in an NFL game in the last 2 seasons and has been a pretty non-impactful player? Well, it's the same reason he keeps getting brought into organizations. JT Woods was a 3rd-round pick out of Baylor because he's over 6'2". His pre-draft 40 time was a 4.36, and his vertical is 30.9 inches. He simply has some things that you cannot teach: length, speed, and athleticism. And he's not old. He's 25, going to be 26. So I feel like this is a reasonable person to bring in. It's clearly going to be cheap if you try to bring him in. And he's got some attributes that you just can't find everywhere. There just aren't that many 6'2" corners. There are less 6'2" corners that run 4.36 and that have a 39-plus inch vertical. So it's clearly a player that your coaching staff has a relationship with. There are a lot of great measurables, and I look at the Saints' defensive backfield and I say, I'm not bringing in JT Woods to be my starting corner. I'm not bringing him in to challenge Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'm not bringing him in to challenge in the slot. I'm bringing him in because I need depth, I need bodies, and this is a guy who, at 26 years old, still a freak athlete. And if Brandon Staley liked him then, and if he didn't see anything over those 2 years that he spent with him to definitively rule him out of there, like, yeah, give it a look. It's a workout. Sign him in, bring him on the practice squad. He can certainly be a gunner on kickoffs, help you on some special teams units. And if there are injuries on your defensive secondary, he can be a guy that potentially could plug in and play. I mean, it's depth at safety, depth at slot corner, depth at nickel. Just bring in some depth. I like it. He's not challenging Jonas Sanker, I don't think. He's not stealing Justin Reed's job. But he's a secondary player with elite length, elite size, elite speed. I think it's worth a swing. That's my read on it. It's a slow time in the National Football League right now. You're trying to find diamonds in the rough here or there. It's rare that you find a guy that has not been impactful for 2 years that bursts on the scene. I'm not really looking for a burst on the scene. I'm looking for attributes that can help. And I think that there are enough organizations that have taken a swing on JT Woods to suggest that, one, it's attractive when he comes in for a workout, and two, it may not be the ideal fit. But I think it's a good player to bring in and work out based on all of the factors that are there. So we'll see if anything comes of it. I don't expect anything significant there, but the Saints have brought in JT Woods for a workout, and we'll see if he can add a little depth to that secondary for a very, very affordable cost at this point in the calendar. You can find our Saints coverage at Hunt on Saints. You can also find Ross Jackson's great work at LouisianaSports.net. Everything there is for free right now on the homepage at LouisianaSports.net. We've got a ton of stuff. I know the Saints stuff is popping off. Y'all can't get enough of that. LSU added a basketball player, a commitment earlier today. We're going to talk about that in hour number 2, but I wrote that up for LouisianaSports.net. If you missed our segment earlier today on the show about LSU's postseason resume in baseball, I've got a really easily digestible piece up on the website, LouisianaSports.net, right now. It's got how LSU stacks up with the other teams in the Southeastern Conference. Ross is profiling the undrafted free agents over there with the Saints. LSU basketball has brought in a new director of player development, Jay Smith. There's a story up on that. JVR Suggs, former LSU player, is an undrafted free agent for the Saints, and Ross is covering that as well. Plus, I've got a look at Kate Arambede's unbelievable surge late in this season in a statistically speaking piece that is there. If you'd like to just read our Saints stuff, go to the team tab, hit Saints. Like to read our LSU stuff, go to the team tab, hit LSU. It's all right there for free at LouisianaSports.net. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at BuiltByRenaissance.com. We got a ton to do in hour number 2. Koki Riley going to be with us in 5 minutes. He was at the box last night, met with Jay Johnson earlier. I want to talk about Stephen Milam and the injury to Omar Cerna. We'll do that. Plus, got some SEC baseball power rankings, bottom of the hour.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gotro's Outdoor Power. Gotro's Outdoor Power. Had a chance to chat with my guy Gant Gotro earlier today. They're rocking and rolling over there at Gotro's Outdoor Power. Just got an unbelievable inventory of Hustler products at their 2 locations, one on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. I promise, if you drive by that location and just look over to the side, you'll see this mountain of orange. That's the inventory. It's the largest Hustler inventory in the state by far, and it's there at Gotro's Outdoor Power. Looking for the largest parts inventory? They got that as well. Their delivery trucks are up and running every single day, 8 hours a day. So if you need parts, they got them. You need a trailer to get your new zero-turn mower to your property, they got them. We're talking about weather heating up, rain coming down. You got to cut that grass. Need something to do it. You got zero-turn mowers from our friends at Gotro's Outdoor Power. Go see them on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. Go see them in Gonzales. 2 locations, family-owned and operated. It's Gotro's Outdoor Power, online at gotrosonline.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing.
ParishBuilt.com. At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The 76ers will be without big man Joel Embiid for Game 2 of the second-round NBA playoff series against the Knicks tonight because of right hip soreness and a right ankle sprain. He's averaging 25 points, 8 rebounds, and nearly 6 assists across 5 games this postseason. ESPN NBA analyst Janae Agumake.
Joel Embiid is the one that really you have to key in on for them to have their success, because when he plays well, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, without him, we've seen circumstances where BJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey have knocked down multiple threes, but it is a very tight rope for them to be competitive, especially against a New York Knicks squad that is playing their best version of basketball.
76ers Knicks 7 Eastern on ESPN, followed by Game 2 for the Timberwolves and Spurs. San Antonio, like Philly, is down 1-0. Lakers point guard Luka Doncic told reporters he's still not sure when he'll be able to return from a grade 2 hamstring strain that's sidelined him since early April. LA's down 1-0 to Oklahoma City. Baseball, yet another injury hit for the Astros. Infielder Carlos Correa will undergo season-ending surgery on a torn tendon in his left ankle.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, the Cavs traded for James Harden, hoping he would get them over the hump. So is it time for them to limit his playing time? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, hour number 2, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Means half that work week officially in the rear view mirror, working towards the weekend. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Got plenty to do in hour number 2. We'll talk about the newest member of the LSU basketball program, a commitment from Europe/Brazil over the morning hours. We'll talk about that in 15 minutes. My SEC Baseball Power Rankings coming your way in 30 minutes. Right now, let's talk some LSU baseball with Koki Riley. Covers the team for The Advocate. Joins us on Wednesdays. Koki, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How's it going?
Going well. You called this a death machine last night on offense. What gives you that impression over the last 2 weeks?
Well, they can't stop scoring, 6, 7, 8 plus runs a game. And part of it's competition, right? I think South Carolina actually has has an okay pitching staff. It's good enough to, win at least some games in the SEC. I think Mississippi State has a good starting staff and a decent bullpen. But I guess, midweek games and whatnot, like they haven't faced necessarily Florida, which that's going to be a whole other challenge in a couple of weeks. But what they're doing has been pretty impressive at the plate. And I'm kind of walking back my competition statement because now I think of it, they actually have played pretty decent competition on the mound, at least. So I think that, these freshmen have really, really embraced the Jay Johnson style of offense. They're getting on base the whole time. They have the right mix of guys at the right spots in the order. It's a nice blend of veterans who have been there and won a College World Series and, freshmen who are pretty darn talented. And they really need Omar Cerna this weekend to continue that trend, against a really good Georgia team, which is probably better on both sides of the ball. But you feel better about LSU being a potential shootout this weekend if its offense is playing the way it has been.
I know y'all met with Jay Johnson earlier today. I also know how he handles injuries. So what can you tell us about Omar Cerna and what that update was today?
Really didn't get a ton.
Yep.
That's different than what we got last night, right? It's a back thing. Apparently it's a doctor's appointment today. backs are kind of tricky and unpredictable. You don't really know what it's hard to diagnose, and it's hard to figure out what's not just exactly wrong, but like, pain tolerance and just the consistency of like what the issue is. Like, for example, like Jake Brown's hamate injury is pretty straightforward. It's an injury that a lot of hitters have had. And usually it takes, 4 to 6 weeks to recover, and it's a pretty straightforward, procedure and whatnot. But when it comes to a back, like, backs are tricky, and it's going to be interesting to see, like, how I guess when he was healthy enough to play, he looked fine while playing hurt, and everyone is playing hurt to some degree, but maybe it's just that, and they just wanted to give him a break because it flared up a little bit more on Tuesday, or maybe this is something more. It's kind of impossible to tell, honestly. So, yeah, it's kind of where we're at with Omar at the moment.
Certainly a huge part of LSU's offense. Need him back this weekend if at all possible. I also saw John Eads was tweeting about Stephen Milam switching to number 2 next year. I don't know what that discussion was like. I obviously wasn't there. Certainly LSU fans would be interested in Stephen Milam's wearing any number in purple and gold next year, whether that was 2 or 4. What do you feel about Stephen Milam's future at this point?
Yeah, I don't think that tweet really and John does great work, so I'm definitely not like trashing him at all, but like I don't know if that tweet like necessarily totally encapsulated what the conversation was, because I asked him, is there any chance that he comes back next season? And Jay was like, yeah, we'll give him the number 2. If he wants number 2 to come back, we can give him the number 2, but I don't think he's coming back, basically, right? And there are very few shortstops like him, and he thinks that Major League Baseball will value that sort of skill set, right? And, there is an unpredictable element to it, right? And he's a very unique player type for what Major League Baseball would want in a shortstop, right? He's like much, much smaller than the average shortstop. I think a lot of people would point to the fact that, that lack of size kind of cuts off his range a little bit. He's not like the fastest or the quickest player out there, even though he has, as good a hands as you could ever ask for in an infield prospect. He's hitting the ball better lately, which is a good sign for his prospects moving forward in Major League Baseball. I think if he had continued to struggle a little bit at the plate, there'd be a better chance of him coming back. But if he's hitting the ball like this, you can definitely talk yourself into him being, well, he's kind of a slow starter at the plate. Obviously, we know he can definitely play an elite second base at the next level and fill in at shortstop if he needs to. And again, this is just from pure scouting perspective and from some of the scouts that I talked to. That's kind of the idea on him. But, like, he's kind of interesting because you talk to 5 scouts, 3 of them will like him, 2 of them won't. Like, there's not a lot of consensus over what he is. And some people like him, some people don't. It's really kind of an eye of the beholder player. And I mean, everyone loves his mentality. It's just like, what's his fit at the next level given his player type? It's definitely an interesting conversation for sure.
Let's rein it back into this LSU team and a couple of freshmen, William Patrick and Jack Ruckert, guys that I don't think anyone figured would factor in a big way on this team, and now are starting every day. And their statistics have gotten better over the last 2 weeks. What have you seen from them at the plate?
Yeah, I think Ruckert is really – the game's really slowed down for Ruckert, and I know that's kind of a cliche saying, but it just feels like he's taking quality at bats. He's generating much harder contact. I don't think he's ever going to be like a 10, 15 homer guy for this team, but he's kind of like the classic Skip Bertman player, right, who becomes like a really solid contributor and a really good player towards the end of his collegiate career. Might not, have a home in Major League Baseball necessarily, but it's kind of the Gavin Dugas thing, or for lack of a better term, or the Josh Pearson thing. But I think that he doesn't have quite as much power as those guys do. But I like his contact skills at the plate quite a bit, and still has to work on his consistency on defense. But when you look at the way he moves out there, and you look at his actions and look at his hands, I think he's definitely going to be a pretty good defender. Because like the truth of the matter is, like, almost all freshmen are not good defensively on the infield their freshman year.
Yeah.
Like, ever since I covered Arizona State baseball, and they had Alika Williams and Gage Workman on that infield, and like those two guys made the major leagues and were awful defenders their freshman year. And they ended up being great defenders in college, but it's just such a leap with the way guys are hitting the ball and all that sort of stuff that like it's going to take a year to really adjust to it. So you can see the improvement there already, and he's just a solid player. And I think they've got, potential guy they can turn to at second base next year with the way he's been playing. And as for Patrick, the tools are really, really impressive. Obviously he's a great runner, but there was a play last night where he's retrieving the ball into the right field corner, and he just throws the ball into the infield to Milam, and they nearly throw the guy out of the plate, but Milam was a little bit slow on the turn. But his throw from the right field corner to the edge of the infield was impressive. You don't really see that at the college level, like that kind of cannon. And he's the sort of athlete you just don't really see at the collegiate level. It's kind of that simple. And he's very, very raw still. He hits the ball on the ground quite a bit. He's pulling the ball a lot. If he can get the ball, he can get underneath the ball a little bit and start driving it into the air. That's where you're going to start seeing that natural power and where he can really utilize that athleticism. But for now, he's just got to get used to playing baseball every day and being a baseball player. Because this guy wasn't a baseball player in high school. He played baseball, but he also played football. He played like 3 different positions of football, and he was a state track winner. And he was all these other things. I think he even played basketball. He was all these other things. He wasn't just a baseball player. And now he's just a baseball player, and he's got to get used to get those actions down, get those skills improved. It's just going to come with experience, right? And it's probably going to take longer than these next couple of weeks to really figure out what you have here. It's going to take the fall. It's going to take the preseason next season, and probably even the beginning of next year to really see what you have in him. And you're just hoping for improvement. And he hasn't looked as overwhelmed as you think, because at the high school level he played at, St. Frederick, that's a 1A private school in Louisiana. That's a tiny, tiny school. He probably wasn't facing almost anyone who threw over 90 miles an hour. Now he's seeing guys who are throwing 93, 94, 95 consistently. That's a massive leap. And he's struck out a good bit. He's struggled at times, but he hasn't looked quite as overwhelmed as you think, given just the sheer leap in competition. So I'd say there's good signs with him. It's just really early to tell. And I think with Ruckert overall, it seems like he's adjusting to the level pretty nicely so far.
St. Frederick High School, chief rival of my high school, Loyola College Prep up there in Shreveport, another tiny, tiny school that never puts really good players into college baseball. But William Patrick bucking that trend there as a Freddie. Last thing, Koki, appreciate your time. How do you think they do in Athens this weekend?
This is going to be an uphill battle for them.
Yeah.
It's a really bad matchup because, Georgia has, the second or third best offense in the country, I'd say. They're going to be playing in a tiny park. If LSU isn't scoring 10, 12 runs, they're probably going to have big trouble winning these games, in part because, LSU shorthanded on the pitching side. Their bullpen in particular has really struggled against SEC competition, especially against good offenses. You sort of combine that with, obviously the starting pitching stuff. And yes, LSU has the offense to stick around in these games, at the very least, and maybe steal one of them. But I think LSU is going to have not an easy matchup with Georgia's starting staff. Joey Volchko is a really good pitcher, so it's going to be tough. This is about as tough of a matchup as you can ask for heading into this week. And when you combine the small park with LSU's pitching stuff and Georgia's power, it's just a bad combination. It's even worse than the Mississippi State combination a couple weeks ago. Even if you want to say this team's playing better now than it did then, which I probably agree with you, I'd say this team is better than the Mississippi State team that they just faced and got swept by. So it's really, really tough. If they win this series, then we're really talking about the tournament. But I just don't really see how that's just not. I don't think that's very realistic in my opinion.
I don't disagree totally, but we'll see. Enjoy Athens, and we'll talk next week.
Yep, awesome. Thank you.
Koki Riley with The Advocate. He said a couple of things there that piqued my interest. He was talking about a couple of guys that he covered at Arizona State that ended up making the big leagues that were not good defenders as freshmen. No one really remembers this in this town. There was one play that y'all remember, but no, Alex Bregman was not a great shortstop his freshman year. I mean, he played catcher at high school. He'd broken his finger. Maneri just moved him to shortstop, said, you're going to be the shortstop. He was not good defensively that year. And it hurt the worst when he booted that ground ball against UCLA that ended up plating a run, but he was not good. And he became great. He was a great defender his junior year, and he's won 2 Gold Gloves at the big league level. So, like, he got there, but to Koki's point, it takes some time. And the other thing he was talking about, William Patrick becoming a baseball player because he's done everything else. That's very similar to a guy on Bregman's freshman team, Andrew Stevenson, who at STM played wide receiver on the football team, was just a natural athlete that was learning baseball. When he got here, he could not hit at all. I mean, he hit $150 on that 2013 team, but they put him out there to go run balls down in center field. And he did it in Hoover like a deer, and he did it in wherever they put him. He was just great on defense, and they just stuck him down there in the 8 and 9 hole and said, all right, go catch everything in center, and we'll let the other 8 guys hit. And those 2 guys were on the same team, and Ruckert and Patrick are on the same thing. And Ruckert is not comparable to Alex Bregman. Very, very few players are comparable to Alex Bregman. But that story, it still rings a little bit true. So appreciate Koki for a little bit of perspective there. He'll be covering the team from over in Athens for The Advocate. He's here every single Wednesday. All right, we'll take a timeout. LSU got a new basketball player. I'll tell you about him next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, the official bat of Major League Baseball. Step into the heart of the game at Marucci. Go take a tour of Marucci, where they make 1,200 bats every single day to be sent off to the best players in the world. Turn on a big league game tonight. You'll see Marucci. And they make them right here. 1,200 a day. Go take a tour. Learn how they make them. Learn the story of how 2 former big leaguers and their trainer got in the backyard, made a bat, and 22 years later have reached these levels in Baton Rouge. Such a cool story. If you're looking for a year-end party for your youth baseball team or your youth softball team, I know Myers Man has his tonight. Go take a tour of Marucci. Show them. It's an amazing, amazing spot here in Baton Rouge. They've also got the Hitter's House where you can become a member, 24/7 access to batting cages, pitchers' mounds. It's all there at Marucci. Check them out online at MarucciSports.com. It's all there at Marucci.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance?
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Before we get into Will Wade's latest commitment, let's talk about my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services, your spot for that Generac home standby generator. Be prepared for the next power outage with the Generac home standby generator from my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. You can give them a call, 985-397-1562. That's the same number that they've had at Boudreaux's Electrical, Neil Melissa, for 40 years. Call them, 985-397-1562. Say, hey, I'd love to talk about a generator. They send one of their teammates out, sent Justin over to my house, kind of scout things out, understand what you want that generator to power, whether it's a business or a home, and they'll give you a quote on what you need. When you decide what you're going to go with, a team of fully staffed, full-time employees at Boudreaux's Electrical come to install it. And then to do maintenance and do some review of what you're getting, Boudreaux's is there every step of the way. You can buy a Generac home standby generator from the big box store. But what kind of customer service do you get? Do they monitor it 24/7? Are they the ones that come out and do the maintenance? At Boudreaux's Electrical, you just do business with the family that's been in business here for 4 decades in South Louisiana. Storm season's coming. Don't wait until that storm's in the Gulf to call Boudreaux's Electrical. Do it now. 985-397-1562 or 225-300-9389. It's Boudreaux's Electrical. Well, Will Wade said on multiple podcasts over the last couple days, and they got 7 or 8 guys. And we talked about it yesterday. I said, well, I think that's great if you got 7 or 8. I just don't know any of them. I know one. I know Mo Diabate. You got one. That's what I know. And he grinned and he said, that's what y'all know. But look, we're not releasing things. Players are in the playoffs. There are other things. We're not releasing that kind of stuff. But we did get a commitment today. And it's right from the area where we thought it would come from. Will Wade made it clear. They're going to skew heavy to the international side on this particular 2026-2027 basketball team. Why? Well, one, these guys are old. These guys are old. They're developed. They're mature, and they're used to switching teams year over year. In Europe, very common to sign 1-year contracts. Get used to a new team all the time. And 2, these guys are not going to be eligible moving forward. The NCAA is going to go to a 5-for-5 deal where you have 5 years after high school to complete your 5 years of playing, and then you're done. And so the Euro pros will not be eligible for that. But they are now. So it's a good place to go shopping. And Will Wade did that with Marcio Santos. Marcio Santos. Marcio Santos is Brazilian-born. He has been playing in Europe over the course of the last couple of years. He is 23 years old. So he's really old by college standards, not by general standards, but by college standards, he's really old. He played in EuroLeague, which is the second best league in the world. He played for Maccabi Tel Aviv, which is obviously in Israel. And he averaged about 14 minutes per game for them as a 22-year-old, scored 7 points, and is thought of as an offensive player. I watched an 8-minute highlight tape of Marcio Santos, and I heard Jeff Goodman from Field of 68 give his description of Santos from someone who evaluates talent overseas, that he said he trusts really well. And so I kind of blended Goodman's thoughts from the scout and what I saw on an 8-minute highlight tape, and that's what I can give you. That's kind of what we're going to be working off of for this LSU basketball team until they get on the floor. But Santos is 6'8", 6'9". He is a full-grown man. You watch highlight tapes of the high school kids on the AAU circuit that you used to have bringing into your program, they are skin and bones. just rail thin. And that's just life. 17 and 18-year-olds are thin, especially ones that play basketball all the time. 22, 23, 24-year-olds are not. They're men. Marcio Santos is a man. He is big and strong and physical. And he's 6'8", 6'9". Now, what I see on the tape, I see a guy very comfortable stepping out and shooting the three. He shot 40% from three in professional basketball league in EuroLeague. It's an efficient, quick release on a pick and pop. He knows where to be on the floor. He knows spacing. That's the European game. And when he gets some space on the perimeter, he can knock down shots. He's also physical around the rim. He is not going to out-jump most people. He does play above the rim at times. That's just by byproduct of being 6'9" and 23 years old. He plays above the rim some, but he's not a freakish athlete. He will finish around the rim. He will get to spots on the floor to finish. He's a good cutter. He knows where the basketball is. He's just got a very European game to him. You don't see a lot of him breaking guys down off the bounce. And at 6'8", that doesn't happen very much. That's not what he does. He allows others to facilitate for him. And this is kind of similar to other players we've seen. Diabate is a guy that's in the boat. Niang is a guy that we think is going to get in the boat. And like Niang and Santos come from the European game. They played the same game. They need a point guard and a two guard to facilitate for them. But the skills to get the ball in the bucket are certainly there. Now, the word, this is from Santos, this is from Jeff Goodman's scouting report. I'm not going to get a defensive scouting report on a guy based on his 8-minute highlight tape out of Europe where they're just going to show him making threes and finishing dunks and getting putbacks around the rim. The word is he's bad on defense. I have no idea. That's what the scout told Goodman. I would certainly trust that scout over what I'm looking at on YouTube. But I do know this, which makes me feel pretty good. Mark Pope from Kentucky flew to Israel to see Marcio Santos, and he ended up at LSU. Now, whether Kentucky thought he wasn't a take, whether LSU offered significantly more money, whether Will Wade's just a way better recruiter than Mark Pope, like maybe all that's true, maybe one of those things is true, whatever. But what you've got here in Santos is a big, physical post player with pick and pop ability, three-point shooting ability, toughness, floor spacing awareness that is going to be here for 1 year. That's what you get in Santos. And it looks like a good player to me. Not a guy that's going to have to adjust to any sort of physicality in the SEC. Not a guy who's really got to work on his jump shot. Like Diabate has got to work on his jump shot. He's not a good shooter. Santos is. I can't tell you without looking at the other parts of the roster whether or not Santos is going to start or whether he's going to be a bench player. But I can tell you that he's got some skills. I can tell you that Kentucky was interested, and I can tell you that he's going to be the second player in the boat for LSU here after Mo Diabate. And I think it's pretty good. A lot of people are balking at the 14 minutes per game, the 7 points per game in EuroLeague. Look, y'all, this is a really good league that skews older. They play older players more often than younger players because guess what happens when they play younger players? Scouts see them. They leave. So I don't think that this is a deal where he was overmatched in EuroLeague and that's why he only played 14 minutes. 14 minutes is some solid playing time, and scoring 7 points per game in 14 minutes, you extrapolate that out to 25 minutes on the floor, and you're talking about a guy that's a 13, 14-point scorer in the second-best basketball league in the world. So he can play. This is a good ad for Will Wade. It's an offensive ad. It's a good ad. It's a physical ad. It's a rebounding ad. I like it. Marcio Santos, you can read more about him at LouisianaSports.net. I'll have a portal profile, even though he doesn't really come from the portal. I'll have a portal profile up on tomorrow on the website. So looking forward to that. When we come back, is Lane Kiffin going to win a national championship at LSU? I don't know. They asked Brian Kelly. He probably knows better than me. He gave his answer. We'll do that in our SEC Baseball Power Rankings next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. And sometimes it's just time for a full-scale renovation of the bathroom, whether it's just old and dated or maybe it's just not functioning. I love Brian Haldane talking about the work that David Duvall and his team did in the Haldane house. Brian does our morning show on Talk 107.3 Mornings with Brian Haldane. Also does some production work with us at the LSU Sports Radio Network. But he was looking for some help in the bathroom. And look, he called David Duvall One Bath and Closets. They came in, customized it to what the Haldanes were looking for. They had one vanity, wanted two. Got two done. How do you want that to look? They went through those options, made it happen. Floors, vanity, mirrors, the works in the bathroom. David Duvall and his team did it soup to nuts for the Haldanes. They can absolutely do it to you, customized and brand new. So if you go to brush the teeth this evening, you look at the bathroom setup, you're like, man, this is just not what I want. David Duvall, One Bath and Closets. Check them out online, onebathandclosets.com. They'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Online at onebathandclosets.com. It's One Bath and Closets.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic buttered spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know hard work starts with the right equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor with loader for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, this is the tractor built to get it done. Don't wait. This offer ends April 30th, 2026. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We're going to get to our SEC baseball power rankings coming up here in this segment. We're going to start with a little bit of football. Brian Kelly has kind of been making the media rounds. We know that he's going to do some work with the folks over at CBS this year, and that's all good for LSU because it's a little bit money back in the kitty. Whatever he makes in media, he can forego buyout money from LSU. So that's good news here in Baton Rouge, but it would be really good news if his successor won a national championship. And the folks over at USA Today had Brian Kelly on the podcast and asked very bluntly, like, do you think he's going to win a national championship there? And so this was Brian Kelly's answer on Lane Kiffin at LSU. Hold up. We'll get there. The old technology got us there. But it's an interesting answer, and one that I don't think Brian Kelly arrived at flippantly. I think it's one that he absolutely gave some thought to. I think it's something that he's given thought to, and he knows the inner workings of the machine that is LSU recruiting, the machine that is LSU NIL, the machine that is LSU in terms of revenue sharing. Like, these are things that he knows better than really almost anyone. There are certainly some people in LSU's administration that know better than him because they're now in a new Wade Roos era, a new Verge Osbury era, a new Lee Mallett era. There are some changes that have happened since Brian Kelly left, but ultimately you've still got the same donors. You've still got a lot of the same structure in LSU. You've still got Nike that's involved with a little bit of a third-party situation there. Like, there are some things that are still there that were certainly there as Brian Kelly was trying to raise funds, and I think what you'll hear in the answer is just how important fundraising is. Kelly knows that, and he feels like LSU is going to do right by Brian Kelly from that, by Lane Kiffin from that perspective. So it's just something that I think is interesting to hear from that voice. Like, you can hear it from Kirk Herbstreit, you could hear it from Joel Klatt, you could hear it from Booger McFarland, you could hear it from whoever you want to talk about in the media that's a national talking head here, a national talking head there, someone that played here, someone that played there, someone that's been a coach here, coach there, but somebody that's been in the chair in LSU. Brian Kelly is the only coach who has been in the chair at LSU in this era. Like, so no one can have the perspective quite like he can. Like, I know Jaron can speak to LSU to an extent, but he can't do it like Brian Kelly can. So I thought that Brian Kelly's answer just held a little bit more weight, and this is what he had to say.
For a yes or no here, Brian.
Yeah.
Will Lane Kiffin win a national championship at LSU?
I think so. That wasn't yes. Here's why I would say yes, okay? I think that they have invested in NIL for him. They have given him the opportunity. There's a lot of good things moving in that direction. The recruiting classes are really in solid shape. And I think Lane's a really smart football coach. So I think it's in a really good place. And I believe because there's an investment in that NIL, he's going to be able to be Lane Kiffin. and that's important. You know, he's not going to take the 18-year-old kid and develop him, all the way through the ranks. And that's fine. And because that's what they wanted, I think with those things in place, he can win the national championship. And I'm sorry, that was a long answer.
For a yes or no here.
So I think there are some people that hear that and think there's a little bit of animosity there from Kelly. Maybe that's too strong a word. Like, oh, he's not going to do what I tried to do, which is go develop the high school kids, and I think the high school kids are the better way to go. Or he's got an NIL investment that I didn't have. Like, I didn't sense that. I think he sensed that LSU is raising money. I think he sensed that Lane Kiffin has a plan in the transfer portal, that Lane Kiffin is a very good coach, and it's still a fact that the three guys in the chair before Brian Kelly did win. Now, I think LSU fans' perspective on championships is a little bit warped, and I'm okay with that. I just kind of call it like I see it. I mean, I'm leaving Omaha last year, and was Jay going to win 6, 7, 10 of these things? It's really hard to win one. It's really hard. The amount of things that have got to go your way to win one is significant. And I still feel that way about football too. If you don't have Saban in that era where you can stockpile players, like, it's really hard to win one. I would bet heavily against Indiana this year. Heavily against them. Ohio State, they've had great teams. You got one a couple of years ago, but it doesn't happen overnight. Kirby Smart kind of been locked out for a second now. It's not just a guarantee. And so if you asked me to guess if I thought Lane Kiffin was going to win a national championship at LSU, I would guess no. I don't think I'd be like running to get money down on that answer, but I would guess no because I think it's so hard. Like, I would probably guess no. I don't think Jay Johnson wins a national championship in the next 3 years. And I think there are LSU fans that think that's nuts for me to say that. I just think it's really hard. Ask Dave Van Horn. Have you seen his teams? They never win. It's really hard to do. So I hope so. I hope Jay wins it this year. But, doesn't feel like that's going to happen. I hope Lane wins it this year. I hope Will Wade wins it this year. Hasn't happened. It's tough. So I don't say that to be like overly negative or to like put people in a bad mood here on this lovely Wednesday afternoon. But like, it's just really hard to win a championship. We're just very fortunate at LSU that we've had some teams that got to the finish line. I'm thrilled about that. But it's really, really, really difficult. So let me remind you about Renaissance Homes and Pools. We get to our LSU SEC Baseball Power Rankings. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. I just ask you to send a text to Joey Blanchard. He's the owner of the company. The beauty of working with Renaissance Homes and Pools is you get the owner all the way through. You text Joey to start things, 225-252-7745. That's 225-252-7745. Say, hey, I'd like to get a pool. Joe will get that text. He'll give you a call. He's with you every step of the way. That initial consultation, what do you want? Do you know, or do you want us to help you start this process? Okay, you go through the design. Joey's there. When they dig, Joey's there. When they fill that pool, Joey's there. When they finish that pool, Joey's there. Outdoor kitchens, Joey's got your back on that as well. If you want to build your forever home, Renaissance Homes and Pools can do that too. And it's not too late to make that phone call to swim in 2026. It's May, early May. We can swim through October in this town. So if you want to make that phone call, you think the time is now, give Joey a text, 225-252-7745. Renaissance Homes and Pools are online at builtbyrenaissance.com. Power Rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings. The Georgia Bulldogs.
It's a good team LSU's playing on Friday. They lead the SEC in wins in league play by 2.5. They lead the SEC in batting average. They lead the SEC in home runs, slugging percentage, on base percentage, OPS. They are really good on offense. They also have a pitching staff that has held its own. They're second in the league in fielding percentage. I think they're the best team in the Southeastern Conference. LSU's got to go to work this weekend.
The Texas Longhorns.
Still really like Texas. They're number 2 in the SEC in ERA. They're also third in the SEC offensively in on-base percentage. I think the X factor for Texas is Dylan Volantis. He's just so good, and he makes it hard on everybody they play in that game. And when you've got that guy, despite the fact that Volantis doesn't always pitch on Friday, doesn't always pitch on Saturday, started the year on Sunday, he's pitched on some Fridays. Like, it doesn't matter what day when you're in SEC play. They all count the same. He's been fantastic. I think he's an X factor for this team.
The Auburn Tigers.
I moved Auburn up one spot. They took 2 out of 3 at Texas A&M. I've got them in the third spot. They got the best ERA in the league, fewest walks allowed in the league. Their offense is 4th in batting average. Like this Auburn team, they move up one spot.
Texas A&M!
A&M moves back a spot because they lost 2 out of 3 at home to Auburn, and I just like Auburn's punch right now late in this season. A&M is 10th in the SEC in ERA. They are 16th in the SEC. That is dead last in pitching strikeouts, so they've just got some soft spots on the mound. I'm so disappointed LSU didn't cash in on that. But I'll let you know a secret here. That was the movement. Auburn to 3, A&M to 4. Nobody else moved.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
People went nuts in the comments on Instagram that I got Ole Miss ahead of Mississippi State because Mississippi State's beaten Ole Miss 4 times. I like Ole Miss's pitching staff better than Mississippi State's. I love Townsend. I think he's awesome. And I think Rabe is good. And, like, Hunter Elliott's going to give me a good start in the postseason. I just know he is, even though he hasn't the last couple of times out. I like Ole Miss. They've got great, powerful offense. They were one swing away from winning 2 out of 3 at Arkansas. I like this team.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
State went on the road and lost 2 out of 3 to Texas. They're 3rd in the SEC in ERA. They're 2nd in batting average. They're tied for 5th in homers. They're 1st in doubles. It's a good team. Townsend is the X factor. I like him more than Valinkas at Mississippi State. So I like Ole Miss more than Mississippi State.
The Florida Gators.
Very top-heavy offense. They're really good at the top of the offense, but here's the underbelly of Florida. They're 12th in the SEC in batting average, 11th in doubles, 10th in homers, 12th in slugging, 12th in on base. However, their team ERA is 4th. It's a really talented pitching staff. The offense does well 1 through 4, 5 through 9 struggles, but Florida, I've got it 7.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Hogs at 8, 7th in the SEC in ERA, 11th in batting average, 8th in runs scored. They just got a lot of different statistical categories that are right there in the middle, and that's why Arkansas is right there in the middle of the SEC at 8.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
I like the stuff in the top of the staff, and they're 3rd best in walks allowed. They just need to hit a little bit more. Their pitching staff's going to help them out. It's the offense that has hurt Tennessee, which is wild to say, but it is Toast Vitello. Here we are.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Biggest problem with Bama, who remains at 10 here, Justin LeBron, who was thought to 2 years ago maybe be the top pick in this draft, won't be anymore. 266 this year. Now, 12 homers is good, but that's just not a great year. Brady Neal's been their best hitter.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Doors can hit for power, second in the SEC in homers. They don't pitch, 15th in the SEC in ERA. They do have a really easy schedule coming up. They're going to go to Columbia, Missouri to play Missouri this weekend, then they'll play South Carolina at home the final weekend. They're going to have to win 5 of those 6, I think, to feel good about the SEC getting into the NCAA tournament.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
The only thing Oklahoma is good at is stealing bases. They're 12th.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
The only thing Kentucky is good at is stealing bases. They're 13th.
The LSU Tigers.
I like the weekend. They're playing better. They are playing better. But they got one weekend starter. And Cowan did a good job, but are they proven, or was that South Carolina's awful offense? I don't know. And the offense is really young. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful I can change LSU out of the 13th spot. They go to Athens and win a couple. I can bump them up to 11 or something. But right now, I got to leave them at 14.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Y'all saw them. Y'all saw them. They just simply cannot hit. They're not talented. They're bad.
The Missouri Tigers.
They got swept by South Carolina. They're worse. I think Carrick Jackson's got about 2.5 weeks left in that dugout, and that'll be a changing being made by Missouri. So that's your SEC baseball power rankings. Only one real movement the entire week. That means I've got it grooved. Georgia 1, Texas 2, Auburn moves up to 3, A&M moves back to 4. That was it. Ole Miss 5, State 6, Florida 7, Arkansas 8, Tennessee 9, Bama 10, Vandy 11, OU 12, Kentucky 13, LSU 14, South Carolina 15, and Missouri comes in at 16. We'll come back and close out the show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Every car is on the lot, and every car is online at FabryChevrolet.com. I know a lot of folks are about to pack up that gear and head to the beach when school is over. If you've got a car that may not be able to handle that at this point, you're at the end of your lease, you want a new SUV for that road trip for the summer, go in there to Fabry Chevrolet GMC and look at their Suburbans. Look at their Yukons. Look at their Denali's. Look at the Tahoes. They've got an amazing inventory of SUVs just ready for that summer road trip. Start that buying process online at FabryChevrolet.com. It's a great way to do it. We live in a clicks world. Go check out the inventory. But I highly suggest you make that short drive to St. Francisville and see them. It's a great buying experience at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. It's great service after the sale, and you will not regret it. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
One more time, we'll get you Joey Blanchard's number. Get you in a new pool, 225-252-7745. You can find them online at builtbyrenaissance.com. Renaissance Homes and Pools brings you our Wednesday shows each and every week. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so if Live Golf can't survive beyond this season without Saudi Arabia's funding, two-time major champion Bryson DeChambeau said that he's prepared to grow his YouTube golf channel and he'll play in tournaments that want him. So is Bryson done with the PGA Tour? Take it or leave it.
Leave it. Once Liv dissolves and his contract's up, he'll find his way back on. I don't believe Bryson's going to spend his truly prime years trying to break 50 with Fisher-Price clubs at the local meetings. I don't think he's going to spend his prime golf years trying to make hole-in-ones over his house.
3D printer.
It's a great idea, super awesome stuff, but he's going to want to play in the Players' Championship and at Pebble Beach and at the Arnold Palmer and Memorial, and he'll want to do that, and he'll have the opportunity to do that when Liv folds. He knows that. And look, and Graham McDowell came out yesterday and said, hey, I wish I wouldn't have said the stuff about growing the game at the beginning. I wish I would have said it was good for me to grow my pocketbook, and it was an off-ramp of golf for me. Yeah. That would have been fine. But they all just lied and ripped golf in half. So I don't like it. And so Bryson's not going to just quit and go play on YouTube. Just not going to happen. I'm on YouTube every day. I'm telling you. It's not that. That's not that. If I could play at Pebble Beach, I'd be there.
All right, so Philadelphia 76ers star Joel Embiid will miss Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals tonight against the New York Knicks with a right hip soreness and right ankle sprain. Embiid has played 5 games in the playoffs since returning from his emergency appendectomy on April 9th. The Sixers cannot be taken seriously if Embiid is in and out like this. Take it or leave it.
Take it. He's clearly the best player. The thing is, when is he not in and out?
Exactly.
He never plays. He's always hurt. Well, he's got an appendectomy. Well, his foot's hurt. And he's always hurt. So, I get it. 7'1" guys or whatever he is, it's a very difficult way to stay healthy, and there are not a lot of guys that big that can move like that. But
he has strange injuries though. He's had his injuries with his legs and whatnot. I remember one playoff run he had Bell's palsy. He just has the wildest injuries possible. And one year he broke his face.
I remember Bell's palsy. I don't even know what that is.
He had his eye was frozen, he couldn't blink his eye or something. One playoff series, I don't know.
That seems like if you're playing NBA 2K and then,
my player gets Bell's palsy.
But that's the Sixers built their entire organization around him, and
trust the
when
process.
he's out there, he's real good, but he's not out there a lot.
Well, it's good. Sixer fans are happy. As long as they sent the Celtics home, they can care less right now. They're a happy group. So Derby winner Golden Temple will miss the Preakness. That's the second straight year the Derby winner will miss the race. It needs to move. Take it or leave it.
Gotta take it, right?
You have to.
Aren't we trying to? There is certainly a very strong horse racing community. You hear Jimmy talk to guys that want to do that, and Delmar, and I get that. I don't know anything about horse racing, but I certainly know there are people that are invested in it. But you do need the Triple Crown to be on the table. Now, I don't think Golden Tempo is going to win the Triple Crown. He was a very, very surprise winner at the Derby.
All the way to the back.
Yeah, so probably not going to cost you any time, but there's nothing better for horse racing than when the Derby winner wins the Preakness and you can go to the Belmont. I very distinctly remember 2015 American Pharoah. I watched the Belmont at walk-ons before I walked over to the Super Regional LSU and ULL. and like American Pharaoh came down the stretch and won the Triple Crown. We all went nuts. Nobody knew what the hell we were watching, and everybody started chanting LSU, LSU for the horse race. But like, they would have even had the race on if the Derby winner hadn't won the Preakness. So they need to make it accessible. It can't be that hard on the horse racing calendar. I don't know how much rest thoroughbreds need after they run
they're bred for this, literally.
I mean, 2 weeks is obviously not enough with the travel. So do we need 3? Do we need 4? Like, what makes it work? And then make that happen. We got the summer. We can do this. I'm confident we can do it. It's not like you're moving 30 teams here.
Yeah.
We got 3 races we need to prioritize. I know what's going on in Del Mar. I know they've got the Louisiana Derby.
Jimmy love it.
I got it. But, like, let's prioritize the 3, and we can move them. The PGA Tour and the USGA and the RNA, Augusta, move the majors. Like, they figured that out in golf.
There's a little
we
flexibility.
can do it with the Rose Bowl's not going to move, but we can move everybody else.
They ruin everything with that, too. I'll never forget
It's
them.
fine. All right.
That's it for Take It or Leave It.
That's it on a Wednesday. Lots of ground we covered today. Talked to LSU Tulane. I gave you my thoughts on LSU's NCAA tournament resume in baseball. That's at 1:15. You can go back and check it out on demand on our show, or you can read it at LouisianaSports.net. I wrote it for free there. What If Wednesday? Koki Riley was with us at the top of hour number 2. Talked about Will Wade's newest player. We also talked a little Saints secondary help. You can find that at Hunt on Saints. I'm out of here. Matt's going to drive you home on After Further View. We're back tomorrow. Same time, same place. The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. When I say Lifetime Roofing, you probably think, I bet they do roofs. You nailed it. They do roofs. They do roof inspections. They fix roofs. They put new roofs on. They're happy to do that. But that's not all they do at Lifetime Roofing. They also do professional installation of gutters. They also do professional installation of siding. They also do professional installation of windows. So if you're looking for a company to come help you with the exterior of your home in a lot of different capacities, you can make one phone call to Lifetime Roofing, and they can handle that. And they are so thrilled as of January 1st to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. That's a game changer. A lifetime workmanship warranty. Go with a local company based here in Baton Rouge, by Baton Rouge people, by South Louisiana people that can help you throughout the southern portion of our state. It's Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at LifetimeRoofingLA.com. That's Lifetime Roofing. LA.com.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemon